Hello everybody. After a whole month, I'm surprised I'm still here. This is really kind of a cheer up video, but a personal story that actually caused me to really, I don't know, change my beliefs or open up, or something's happened that's they did say on the internet that the last few days will change your life, and I think this has changed my life. And I think also we need one person or two people to actually put us in that direction. We always meet somebody, and I think this is what's happened to me. So this is a video about, it's a magical video actually, but it starts off in a little bit doorway, because you know I've been through hell the last month or two. Well, I've been through hell the last 3 years. And I'm very strong, but this floored me, this recent event. And it was that time of the internet challenge. Do you remember the last video? And I had one or two things that really, at the end of the day, I just couldn't cope with. And the final thing came. I just thought, I've got to let go of this. I can't cope. It was to do with the van friend, really, the internet friend, and I've known him for 20 years. That's a long time. We've had our ups and downs. He's always been there for me. He really has always been there. Although we've had ups and downs, he's not a really personal friend per se, not an emotional connection, but he's listened and he's stood in for me sometimes, and I'm very grateful. I've always been afraid to let him go because he's terribly good at computing. And you know how much we need those from time to time, people that understand things like that. So I've always been afraid when we've had our ups and downs, I've tried to let him go. I've never been able to do it because there's nobody else, you know. So anyway, this final thing with the internet, he didn't want to do it. I just knew he didn't want to help, and I was very upset. I didn't know what to do. I'd asked him, and he could see he was a bit cagey. He couldn't come out, or there was it. And of course, he's recently married. So it might be something to do with that. You know, he's obviously perhaps the girlfriend is jealous. I don't know, but it has changed things somewhat. And I didn't know what to do. And I asked him several times. I thought, well, I've got to ask somebody else, which I did. And I won't go into that, but that was a bit of a disaster. So, and then I thought, it came to me very strong that I had to let this man go. Really, he hasn't been terribly good for me in lots of ways. We are very different, and he's not. This is not a criticism. It's just that he's different, and I've moved on, I guess, consciousness-wise. I don't know. I just knew the time had come to really let him go, and I felt in some ways that he was manipulating me because he knew that's what I would do, but he hadn't got the courage or the confidence to pull away. So I had to be the one to do it, and it was very hard. I wrote to him and said, you know, how I felt. And I thought, well, that's it then, if my computer goes wrong. That's the thing that worried me the most, but also his support, you know. God told me many years ago there'll always be one, and there always has been just one person that supports me. God knows what I did to deserve that, but anyway. So that was it, and I went through many panic, and letting people go always upsets me, and I go into a deep decline. I went very depressed. And so I shut down, and anyone that's been depressed knows how that is. You don't, there's nothing, you can't put your finger on it. You said something within, you just, you know, you've had enough. And I kept saying I'm going to go in a care home and all this stuff, which is silly really. But anyway, I went eventually. It was not 2 nights ago actually, and I just knew that I was going to sleep. I said, just take me home. I really wanted to go, you know. It's not suicidal per se. It's just I'd had enough, you know. And I'm an old lady. It's time I did go. You know, pack your bags and go. But the upshot is the cheerful bit coming at last is I've got this it's Age UK, it's an Age UK helper that he comes, he does the hoovering and bits and pieces for 2 hours a week, one hour at the beginning, and he does all sorts of things, washes up for me, does the hoovering, you know, he's a real helper, very nice man, very nice man, and we get on quite well, which is unusual for me. No, it isn't. I'm always putting myself down. I don't mean that. It's difficult with the opposite sex for me. Anyway, he's very sweet, and this dream I have really was in a dream. I was in a very deep place. I don't know where it was, but it's some place we can all go to. It's very deep, I'm not sure it's preparing for death, but it is a shut down place, and a lot of people who are very depressed or have mental breakdowns, they go into this, and they hard to recover. So I was very aware that I was in a very deep place, and the doorbell went in this deep place. And I had to really struggle to come to out of this deep place and answer the door. And when I answered the door, this man was standing there. Now, some of you might understand it. I don't fully understand, but I know that he came to rescue me. I don't know where my guides or teachers were. This man was the one that had to come to rescue me. He stood there just for a bit. I don't know what was said, but eventually, of course, I woke up. And I've been reflecting on that for quite a while because I haven't known him very long, and we have talked about spiritual things from time to time in a very sort of light-hearted way. I tell him little stories, you know. He thinks he's not psychic, and maybe he's not, but I do think at some level maybe he was asked. I'm not sure he volunteered, I don't know, but something came into my life. He was asked to help me, not just hoovering core floors and so forth, but on a different level. He was the one that's come, and it's very odd. I thought, well, that's really weird that within a week he sort of replaced the one that's been standing by for 20 years. I'm not sure his mum will take that long because he's much older, but I've dropped my glasses. Excuse me a minute. But it seems to me that he's kind of, well, not a replacement, but I feel very moved by it because it's unbelievable that somebody that I've only known for a few weeks that should come. I've never had such a psychic experience, I don't think, that he should come in my dreams. Well, obviously it's all planned, it's all arranged, nothing's random, is it? That he's coming in place of this other one, you know, that's left, and he's going to be helpful and kind, you know. In fact, I think he's going to open my life up for me because, as you know, it's actually been a whole year that I've been housebound. I've not been to the shops, not done anything whatsoever. All I've done is rest in the day, sleeping, meditating, crying. Believe me, the spiritual path is not an easy one, and the higher you go, the more difficult it gets. This is true. This is true. You'd think the higher you go, the more light you get, the easier. No, it's not. It's more difficult every day. And I think I'm now into the ascension, I'm pretty sure. And I say, well, if I was ascended, I wouldn't be this bloody miserable. But I don't know. We're not told where we are. Well, some people are told, but I don't know where I am. I just know I'm exhausted. And this last one has probably been the final ascent, as they say. And I think this man has come in. He actually suggested taking me out for coffee. He said, you can put your wheelie thing in the back of the car. And I thought, isn't that kind? You know, it's not a part of his job. He's not a carer. He just comes to, you know, clean up every now and then. But he's age concerned. I think they have quite a range of abilities. They can post letters and do they're not carers. They're kind of job helpers, if you know what I mean. And he's going to take me out for coffee tomorrow, and it'll just be to see something different. I mean, it will be really nice for me, and with him there as well. He'll be caring, and he'll bring me home again. So feels like a new dawn for me. I just wanted to tell you all this because I'm sure there are people out there feeling just like I felt, you know, and you don't know what to do. You just feel. Oh, I did tell you about the shutting down as well. I don't quite understand where this was, but all day yesterday and the day before I spent 2 days at it. Yesterday was the most intense. In a place I don't. As somebody who's esoterically understanding these things, they would know. I felt it was in the presence of God. It wasn't meditating. It wasn't dreaming. It wasn't anything much. It was just. I went into this very dark. It wasn't even when it was dark. When it was like empty. It was like a womb almost. And I just knew that I was being held, and I was in it for several hours. I mean, I wasn't aware of thinking anything or doing anything. I was just resting in this beautiful, warm, cosy, loving place. And I think that must have been when does Jesus say, "Come to me, all ye who are laden, and I will give you rest"? And it was a resting place, and I just completely felt so safe and so loved. It was beautiful, you know. So I came out of it eventually, I think about 6:30 last night. So all this is kind of new, and I'm just exploring it all still. So whatever you might pick up on something that could help you, you know that. Because it's a very difficult time for everybody, very difficult. And I get a bit cross when I see people out there having a good time. But of course, I read on the internet not everyone is ready. And it's not everyone's time to be, you know, going through this and so forth. And not everyone need to be aware of it, you know. So I think in a way we're blessed, but in a way, see, I've got nobody that can help me. I don't know anybody who what I call conscious. My friend, the computer engineer, he was fairly aware and he was very psychic, but he wasn't the person I could share a lot of things with of a conscious nature, if you know what I mean. And you have to choose people very carefully, otherwise think you're a nutcase. So I don't have anybody that I can share these things with. That's why I do these videos, to talk to you, because I know a lot of you will understand and may take on board and may like something in your lives. I don't know. It's a question I think we have to share. I'm fed up with some of you. had 40 views, no, was it 100 views on something, and not one comment. Where are they at? You know, it's our duty to share. It's our duty to respond. Take responsibility for sharing the energy. If you've enjoyed something, then just write a note saying thank you, you know, or make a comment of what you think. I mean, I know I've said this so many times, but it is frustrating. I give so much and I don't get anything back. I may do it visibly, but I would like to live a bit of conscious energy exchange. Is called energy exchange. You give something, you get something back. And I think a lot of you are sitting there probably enjoying the videos, but why don't you say something, you know? Anyway, that's my story for today. The secret is a sense of humour. And this illness has taught me so much. I won't go into that now. I could do a video on it. Things you learn. How to manage energy. How to do this. How to pick up. How to get off the bed. How to move without muscles. The first 3 fingers have gone. So I can't write anymore. I can't sew anything. I'm sure they will come back. All these little things are showing me something about me and the way things work. Energy especially is a fascinating subject. So on that one, darlings, I'm going to love you and leave you in my messy little room. It doesn't get any better. You should see what's behind the chair. Well, it is called a box room. I can't throw boxes out. I love boxes. My dad had a fetish with boxes. He was a pharmacist and he used to love boxes. He had a whole shed full of them, and I think I'm the same. Especially if they're nice ones from Amazon. They're lovely, aren't they? Anyway, darlings, I'm going to go now. I hope you found something useful in this peculiar video. Take care. God bless.